Hello everyone, I'm Draco. I'm here today with another reaction. This time I'm going to be reacting to IZ*ONE's Panorama. I'm guessing it just came out, looks like 4 hours ago. Has 1.3 million views so far, but let's see what I think. I feel like I'm not saying enough about this so far, but promise I will. Okay. So once we got to that little breakdown part is when I was like, okay, yeah, I really like this. It's okay. I have usually found that IZ*ONE is kind of more on the poppy side of what I appreciate. So some of their songs, like, okay, they're good. And other ones I'm like, it's just a little too squeaky bubblegum for me. But again, like all music comes down to like what you personally like, right? So yeah. The kind of breakdown there at the end, I really enjoyed that one part of the dance where they were kind of like guiding her hand. Loved that. I know like one member of IZ*ONE, Jaeyeon, and only because of Chaeyoung from ITZY. And yeah, they're obviously very talented girls, but I always feel that these larger groups, like, Twice has this problem too. Because there are so many members, it makes it hard to focus on any one member. And part of that is the point, because it helps to hide any imperfections, because you can still do a focus on a girl who's dancing or who's being the visual during, a part where everybody's singing together, versus having to focus on people in a smaller group. So in a smaller group, you have to be much more versatile, which isn't to say that these girls aren't versatile. I mean, they went through a competition, and regardless of, some of the things that went on, because we all know that this was not necessarily supposed to be the lineup if everything went above board. But all told, these girls are there for a reason. They were still good enough to be in the competition. So whether or not they were given special treatment because somebody went, okay, we're basically going to buy their spot, it was still their companies who felt that they could get away with buying their spot because they were talented enough. So, yeah. The visuals for this were really interesting. It was very just focused on pictures, which obviously a panorama, we think of it as a wide picture. It can just mean any wide image, like the one that you're seeing, but it seems to focus more on the photography aspect of it, which, okay, fine. I think I might need to go back and just kind of glance at a few parts here. Okay. The empty stage set is a little interesting. And I realize that so much of what COVID-19 is doing is making it where they're having to innovate a little bit more with music videos to make sure that they don't have too many people in them. So whereas previously there may have been a lot of extras in a scene, now they have to pare that down. Or even go, okay, let's figure out a way to do it with no extras. Just for safety. I mean, the kind of thing that you wouldn't think of having to deal with pre-pandemic, suddenly you're having to go, okay, everything has to go around, like, everybody who's on set, have they been quarantining? What is their bubble like? Do they have any symptoms? All of these things that you have to consider that you never really had to think about before. It is making sure that set safety across the globe is going to be better, which is really good because in a lot of places it has been really, really bad. And we don't like to think about the fact that there's a chance that some of the girls from these groups that we really like, or guys from the groups that we really like, I mean, obviously I like girl groups better, so that's what I think about when I'm like, okay, groups I like. But we always want them to be in a situation where things are going to be really good for them. But that's just not always the case. So yeah, it's a good thing, all told, that there is more of a focus on the safety of just everyone. So I'm sure that everybody who is filming, they're wearing masks, washing their hands really well. And when you think about how it's going now versus how it must have been before, I'm sure some of these girls have picked up a cold or something, or a flu, whatever, during the process of filming, performing for a live show, something. I mean, we know that Everglow and Obtention had issues where they caught COVID recently because not everyone is following the same procedures. And we want them to. We want them to be super safe, but we also want content, particularly when everybody else is stuck at home going, okay, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started doing reaction videos, because that's all I've been watching. Okay, I don't want to say it's all I've been watching. It's like that and K-dramas. I've watched a ton of K-dramas. I think I've probably watched like 25 of them since the beginning of the year, just start to finish. And this is with working. And I also am a parent. Like, I don't have a baby or anything. Like, my kid is mostly self-sufficient. But still. And I know everybody else just wants content, because we're stuck in the house. We want to make human connections, but you can't make human connections as easily when you're like this the whole time. This is not me advocating to not wear a mask. Oh my gosh, wear a mask. Wear a mask, wash your hands, stay 6 feet or more away, stay home if you don't absolutely need to be out. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't be giving a PSA here, but I feel like there are still some people who need to really get it into their head that this isn't going away unless you do things to help make it go away. And if we do everything that we can, then it helps all of the people that we want to, have future encounters with. Yeah. So it's like, I want all of my favorite groups to continue to produce content, but I want them to do it safely so they don't catch COVID. Because if they do catch COVID, then there's a chance that their lungs are going to be impacted so that they won't be able to sing and dance like I like them to in the future. I mean, no brainer, right? And yet, here we are, how many months later? And it's just resurgence and all that stuff. And sure, we have vaccines coming, but vaccines take a while to actually, kick in. The choreography for Eyes One is always really interesting. Again, like Twice, it's harder to focus on any one individual for what they're bringing to the game, because it's all about what they can all do together. It is that group of a bunch of girls where you put your best ones toward the front so that they can hide the imperfections of the ones who aren't as good kind of more toward the back. And it's not rocket science. You put on the show toward the front. Like, that's where the puppets go. And then the hands are in the back. Which isn't to say that the girls in the back are the ones who are driving anything, but they're still there for a reason. They're still loved by lots of people, maybe for their personality during shows, maybe for their vocals, maybe just for the fact they're trying ever so hard. That's the reason why we like these groups. And it's not just because we like a song on the radio or something. You don't get into K-pop because you hear it on the radio unless you live in Korea. You find out about it on the internet. And then through the internet, you find out, okay, well, if I like this group's songs, let me watch their videos. And you see their personality through how they act in these videos. Because even when they're putting on this persona and everything is done in such a way where you are designed to see what you're supposed to see and not anything else. Yeah, there are a bunch of these groups with a ton of members. And it ups your ability to have a bias because you have such a greater range of girls to choose from. And it's great as a fan if that's the kind of thing that you like. Because you can have a favorite, and as long as everything is distributed well, it doesn't matter who your favorite is, she's always going to get some time to shine. If you like a group that has less members, then sometimes it does feel as though one is getting the shaft in favor of some of the others. Like, in this video, I don't necessarily have a favorite, but it kind of felt like every girl that I was seeing an equal amount. So if I were already like a big fan of IZ*ONE, I'd be like, okay, yeah, oh, there's my girl, oh, there she is again. Instead of going, okay, well, that member got that big long section of screen time, and that one got that big long section of screen time, and oh, mine was a little blip in the background. She got to sing the chorus. Yeah. A lot of this comes down to preference. Do you prefer the small groups or the large groups, or are you more about like the solo artists? Because there are certainly solo artists who are amazing. Like I like Hyoden a lot. Oh, and Sunmi loves Sunmi. Actually, her videos are probably the ones that I watch the most of solo artists. I'm a JYP girl. It's but still, it's all about how much focus you need on your favorites, your biases, and that does help to guide whether or not you feel as though you're getting good things out of the group that you're watching, you know? So, for instance, during GOT7's last piece, Youngjae, it was really noticeable that he wasn't really there until the end. As you can watch anybody's reaction video who didn't know about him having the slip disc, and they'd be watching, and then, like, right before he came on, they'd be like, wait, where's Youngjae? Because it's noticeable that he's not there. Even if you're not necessarily processing it right away, it's there, niggling at the back of your head. I feel like I have gone way far away on a tangent from this IZ*ONE video. But that's what I do. I feel like I'm always going to make these like 20-minute videos about a 3.5-minute long MV or performance or something. So ultimately, did I like it? Yes. Is it going to be something that I download? Probably not. I'm picky. I'm judgmental. I know this about myself. It's a better video to me than it is a song. Because the song has already like left my head, but bits of the video are remaining. Yeah? So, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Give me a comment if there's something in particular that you want me to react to. Right now I'm just kind of like, I don't know. What do I want to react to? What's newish? What have I not heard before? But I haven't yet reacted to any artists that I'm super duper into. Hopefully they're going to have some new releases soon. I love being excited about what I'm watching. I think you watch me do that during the GOT7 dance practices, because I loved those songs. It was a ton of fun just to watch the dance practices and just really get into that. When you love the music and you love the videos, it's easy to be super positive about them. And when you're someone like me who is pretty judgmental and pretty picky, then I do feel the need to try to say good and bad things. Because one of the whole things about reaction videos is that I try to have things to say about all the videos that I watch. Because the whole reason why you can do a reaction video is that it follows fair use policy. But fair use policy of videos like this say that you have to be transforming them. Now, one of the ways that you can transform them is by giving critique. Now, critique is both positive and negative, but it still means that you can't just watch yourself watching it where like you don't even make a face about it and you're like, okay, hey, thanks guys, like, comment, subscribe. No, it's not actually fair use then. Then you are just doing the tiniest little bit to showcase somebody else's art. So I want to encourage you to go and view the art yourself if you like it. In fact, you probably have if you're bothering to come here to watch my reaction to it. It's likely that you watched it and then you had an opinion about it and wanted someone else to back it up. Because that's what we do. We look for someone who has our same biases. and not like, oh, my biased member, but just all of the things that we like and don't like. We want to find somebody who has that so that we can go, okay, well, if they like this thing as much as I do, then this other thing that they're really into, maybe I should check that out, right? So that's it for me for right now. I might come back later and do another video if I have time, but we'll see.